Intercourse was probably like it's still the best way to describe it. I think like
How about sexual congress?
sexual congress. Like I don't know.
That just sounds
Intercourse.
old and gross.
Intercourse just
McConnell
sounds like
getting it on.
an adventure, like a journey, and none of the other words.
Intercourse makes you think of movies like Osmosis Jones or.
You remember the movie Inner Space where they shrink him down into the submarine and put him in the
I
bloodstream?
never saw that, but I was about to say that Magic School Bus episode where
yeah.
they do pretty much the same thing. That's what intercourse makes me think of. These tiny, tiny things.
That's how I lost my virginity. It was like somebody said, "You want to have some intercourse?" I was like, "Yeah." Then like, okay,
That sounds awesome.
This is still fun, but it's not what I thought. Have you ever? I never had sexual relations with that woman. Sexual relations is
There you go, sexual relations.
I did not have sexual relations with
When
that
I
woman.
get temptations, I need sexual relations.
I'm standing by sexual congress. That just signals to me that you're taking care of business. You're getting things done. Fighting gridlock on the Beltway, if you know what I mean.
Sexual congress, it just sounds like another word for erectile dysfunction to me.
That's topical. I get it. Sexual Congress, that sounds like a Klan rally where they only have their hoods on.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Book Club, the podcast. My name's Elijah Crowder. I'm joined by my siblings, as usual. Introduce yourselves, guys.
I am Dylan.
I'm Ansel.
And we are this week talking about a book, as we are wont to do. We're talking about The Neverending Story by Michael Ende. And just before we jump into it, this book was given to me as a gift by my wife, my lovely wife Sarah, after hearing a previous episode of Book Club, the podcast, where I bitched and complained about fantasy novels not being able to be original and not being able to go through their story without ripping something from Tolkien. This was not only given to me as a good book to read, but, you know, as something to show me where I was wrong. So yeah, that's what we're doing this week. We're glad you could join us. I want to start. Actually, normally I ask you guys what you thought about the book, but I'm not going to do that because I've got a good feeling about this one this week. Can you feel it?
A good feeling that we all thought it was good, or a good feeling that we all thought it was bad?
A good feeling that we all thought it was good. Because a good feeling that we all thought it was bad would just be a bad feeling.
Okay.
My wow.
I think you better do it the way you normally do it.
All right. Well, then, what did you guys think of the book?
Well, I actually thought it was a pretty solid kids book. Not fantastic, but it was decent. It was pretty decent, and enjoyed it sufficiently. That's what I thought, Dylan.
I kind of get behind that. It was decent. I didn't actually finish the book. I felt like it kind of just went on and on. My main problem with this book was that I saw where it was going right from the get-go.
If that's the case, I say we quiz you on it, and if you saw where it was going,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, because I didn't know that would be your stance. I didn't know you'd be.
Well, it's telegraphed with the way the kid's reading the book, and there are several times where, and I'm guessing that's kind of like the big twist in the book, like is that Bastian gets brought into the world. But I mean, it wasn't much of a twist because I don't know, it was just like some heavy-handed foreshadowing.
Okay, yeah, that much is true, but you can't really. I mean, the back 9. That's a golf term. It means like the second half.
Yeah,
because there are 18 holes, and you get the front 9 and the back 9. Are you familiar?
I'm familiar
Okay.
with golf.
The back 9 was actually it was completely unpredictable. And there was a danger of him becoming stuck in that world. So, but we're going to quiz you on all that.
I don't care. Like it.
I'm curious how far you got.
It was about halfway. Like once he got into the world, I was just kind of like, okay. And then I just kind of leafed through the last half. It was, I don't know. It just wasn't. It's kind of hard to articulate. It was boring, really, because maybe the second half, redeemed it. But for me, like at that point, I wasn't invested in any of the characters. I didn't really care what happened.
See, in every book club, Elijah, there's at least one person, who really just comes for the fellowship and the let's face it, the margaritas. And I think that's Dylan's.
Wait, we have margaritas?
Yeah, here you go. But yeah, I think he's not trying to. He's not in it for what's the word? Self-realization.
Self-improvement.
What's the word? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Self-actualization.
Closer.
Self-stimulation.
I'll think of it later. Man, that really annoys me. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, it happens.
Self-actualization.
Well,
is closer.
then, all right, fair enough. We've got the opening shots fired. Let's. I just want to. I don't really want to. Well, I guess I kind of have to. I have the conch this week, but I'm gonna start you off on a few little factoids. I did a little digging up. Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah. You have Oren
right.
this week, dude. My dude.
I've got Oren.
Yeah.
Shit. I won't remember anything. All right. It's been translated into over 40 languages. That's pretty impressive. Wikipedia says worldwide total circulation constitutes 10 million copies, while an alternative source says 40 million copies. Not sure what that alternative source is.
I think that's InfoWars.
40 languages, guys. Yeah, InfoWars.
Was it translated before the movie or after the movie? Because that makes a difference, like on its level of impressiveness. You know what I'm saying?
Before.
Okay.
Yeah, before.
Are you sure about that?
Movie was 84. It was translated into English in 82, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. But it was before the movie anyway.
Okay. All right, yeah. Impressive then.
Yeah. Did you guys notice that the chapters... Oh, first off, did you have the copy of the book that was in 2 colors?
I did, yes.
I did when I read on my tablet, yeah, but in my e-reader, it was all one color.
Okay. Did you notice that you had the initial for each chapter? The first letter was done like how
An illuminated
monks would
letter.
do in the monasteries. Yeah, is that what it's called?
Yep, that's the term.
Did you notice that each chapter, it's 26 chapters, and they all start A to Z in alphabetical order?
No, I didn't realize that. I noticed that the first. 13,
I did not.
I noticed the first 13 chapters started from A to Yum or whatever it is.
No, I didn't notice that. That's pretty cool, though.
No, I did not notice that. No. I was just digging around and I found that. A little bit about the movie. Dylan, you could have just watched the movie because the movie only covers the first half of the book. This is actually interesting. Ende, who wrote the book, requested, he was revolted by the film and requested that they stop production or change the name of it. He felt it had nothing to do with what he wrote, and when they wouldn't do that, he sued them and lost.
Yeah, you said that last at our last book club, and I've been thinking a lot about that, and I've been thinking like, what kind of like only like a complete hermit would expect the movie industry or whatever to make a perfectly a perfect adaptation of the book. You know what I'm saying? And like, I think he had his this is what I thought at first. I thought maybe he had his expectations were too much. And especially like maybe he should have been flattered because it's one of the greatest children's movies of all time. But at the end of the book, it said that he was actually a screenwriter and he had written plays and stuff. So he knew like the nuts and bolts of the business as they call it, and
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe he did have maybe he was misled in some way. I don't really know, but yeah, it's
right.
tough
Right.
because
I don't have those details either.
Movie. They're both. I mean, it is a fantastic movie. But yeah, it really wasn't true at all to like even like the main themes of the book were completely ignored by the movie. So I get it, but I don't know. If you're that difficult to please, maybe don't sell your stuff to. Oh, it was the Das Boot guy. The Das Boot guy directed it, so don't trust the Das Boot guy, I guess is what you really need to take away from this. What do you feel about?
Well,
how do you feel about just the book in general? I don't think we heard your opening comments, or maybe I wasn't listening. But did you dig this book?
I enjoyed it. Did I what?
Did you dig it?
I did. I did dig it. I liked it a lot. I can't really. It's hard for me to say why. I didn't take notes on the text itself, because I started very late and was powering through it. The first half of the book, being familiar with the movie as a child, I flew through it. And second half of the book, I really, really liked, but it was much slower than the first half of the book. But all in all, like, and especially when you get to the end of the back nine, Dylan, I don't think you do see what's coming. I think it goes in a way that certainly most children reading the book would not expect it to go in this direction. But we'll get to that. That's a story for another time.
Dylan, did you get to the point where he was like the? Well, I guess did you get to the many-colored death?
Well, do we?
No.
Do we want to discuss the plot in the second half?
Yeah, let's go ahead and discuss it so he'll have an idea. And I have a breakdown.
All right.
I'll tell you what my idea is. Here's what happens. They bring Balthazar, whatever his name was, into the never-ending world and they make him the new childhood prince to fill in the blanks with his imagination.
Okay, that's just like here's the real deal, Holyfield. He gets into this world and he's all powerful and he's creating the world as he's going through it, right? And it turns out he's like he meets like the most dangerous creature, but since he has more and he becomes friends with the creature. The creature gives him this magic sword, and he's like the most BA dude in Fantastica, and he's just like a huge army starts following him as he makes his way to the ivory tower to see Moonchild, the childlike empress.
Mm-hmm.
And then they find out that she's not there. They have all these like side adventures and stuff, but they find out that she's not there, and she hasn't been there since he came. So this evil witch plants the seed in him that, hey, you're actually the new childlike empress. You need to go claim your throne. So he goes to the ivory tower, and on his coronation day, Atreyu, who he dismissed because he tried to steal Orin because he saw that it was driving him crazy. Elijah, just stop me if I'm going astray here.
Well, there's a couple of things I think that bear mentioning. You're not going astray, but every time he creates something, he loses memories of who he was in the real world.
Yeah.
And he doesn't find out until damn near the end of the book that if he loses all of his memories, he's trapped there forever and can't create anymore, and finds a city of insane people that have done the same.
Yeah, people like humans who are stuck there because they used up all of, and like once you lose all your memories,
right,
Orin's power, like Orin evaporates.
Okay.
When you lose your memories, you can't create anything.
That's
else.
pretty interesting.
You can't make wishes anymore.
He should have put some of that interesting stuff up in like the first half of the book to give readers more incentive.
Yeah, there was a ton of stuff he should have left on the cutting room floor. I have a lot of gripes with the book, but overall it was like pretty. I mean, it had some really neat stuff and some slick stuff, and some raw stuff. Like he actually stabs Atreyu in the heart, and damn near kills him. But yeah, he tries to,
wrecked him.
Yeah. He tries to claim the throne in the ivory tower, and there's a huge war because Atreyu lives, and he gathers his own army. It's a huge battle. Then he goes on this quest.
See, it tries to do too much.
Yeah.
Like there's too much going on there.
Yeah.
For one book.
But the point is, like, I mean, he's such a douchebag when he's like, oh, I'm the most powerful person in the world. Everybody bow to me.
Well,
and then he gets humbled real good, and I like that.
Yeah, but that was another cool mechanic of the book, was because even when he did things that he felt were benevolent and things that were good, they always had side effects that he didn't foresee. That would not be beneficial to most of the inhabitants of that realm.
Yeah, and that
was interesting.
That's kind of predictable, I think, just because you think about the kind of person that Bastien is, described as being, is like this put upon victim of bullying, fat, not much going on in his social life, you could say. Kind of like just a miserable little nerd, and like the first second he gets power, he goes full bully with it.
Yeah, I agree. That's pretty predictable.
But yeah,
But he doesn't go full bully. He doesn't go full bully. He goes 75% douchey, but not full bully.
Maybe douchey's a better word. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got just like a little note here of something that I highlighted fairly early in the book, very early in the book.
Shoot.
That it kind of got off on the wrong foot with me, because this is one of my like least favorite things. This is talking about our main character, Bastien Balthazar Bucks. Bastien Balthazar Bucks's passion was books. If you have never spent whole afternoons with burning ears and rumpled hair, forgetting the world around you over a book, forgetting cold and hunger, if you have never read secretly under the bedclothes with a flashlight because your father or mother or some other well-meaning person has switched off the lamp on the plausible ground that it was time to sleep because you had to get up so early, if you have never wept bitter tears because a wonderful story has come to an end and you must take your leave, where was I? If you have never wept bitter tears because a wonderful story has come to an end, and you must take your leave of the characters with whom you have shared so many adventures, whom you have loved and admired, for whom you have hoped and feared, and without whose company life seems empty and meaningless, and then it just kind of trails off there. I don't know. That's just kind of the thing that bugs the piss out of me when people get really sanctimonious about how good books are, especially in a book itself. It seems very, as we were talking earlier, self-stimulating. And yeah, that got on my nerves really early in the book, and it just kind of set the bad tone for me.
Well, okay, you got to remember though, it is for kids, right? So
Right, it is, and it seems like a fine kid's book.
yeah, and it might be the first book that a kid has read, and it's like, hey, come on into this great world.
But I hate people that try to inject this superiority into reading a book. Like there are tons of just really, really bad books out there, and books as a medium for storytelling is not inherently superior to any form of medium.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I agree. Like, if you ever watch a movie where part of the movie is like
the movie La La Land. I've never seen it, but I can almost guarantee that's pure
a perfect
garbage.
example. Yeah, for that reason, it's just like what we were talking about earlier, the
self-stimulation,
self-stimulating.
Self-Congress.
Self-Congress of by and for itself, and like, hey, this is, check out how fantastic we are. Or any award show, I guess.
Oh, yeah,
like that too.
Absolutely.
That's what, yeah. So, yeah, I see what you're saying, but again, it is for kids, and like if this Ende guy, I don't know.
I tell you what. I'm gonna somewhat disagree with that. I agree with the premise that La La Land is probably not a great book.
Movie.
If you made it a book, it's probably a shit movie, but it would probably be a worse book.
Actually, a fun personal fact about me: that is the only movie that I've walked out of the theater on was La La Land. So that's, I mean, it's pretty bad. I have a pretty high threshold.
Why did you go?
For discomfort, but I was just like, yeah.
I mean,
this isn't.
Yeah, but why did you go to? Did you not know what it was when you went to see it?
Well, there was like people were all a Twitter about it on Facebook, and
Twitter,
and I thought, like, at that point I wanted to do something that I wanted to see something that was like pretty far out of my comfort zone. I wanted to see something that I normally would see, like an anime movie would have worked or something like that. Just something that I never do. It's like, yeah, let's go see a musical about where they dance and sing. Like, this is like the polar opposite of what I would typically go for, and that was a mistake. So never do that, guys. Never take any chances in life. Stick with the way you
never
like.
Go see. Read a book. All right. Well, fair enough. No, but to get back to what Dylan was saying, like, I kind of get the point of the. I understand why it would bother you, and it would seem sort of self-congressional to write that in this book. But there's some pretty good stuff there, like the idea of completely losing yourself in a book and then looking up and realizing, holy shit, the day is gone. That's never happened to you guys?
Oh, it definitely has happened to me. Yeah.
I wouldn't say no. Like, I've read a book for several hours at a time, but like most of the time I'm very cognizant of the time that passes.
I know what it is. Dylan's never drunk the water of life.
That's true.
He knows no joy.
Well, he's not the Kwisatz
No, the water of life in the
he can't change the water of life. It's all the same. It's all the same.
Not American Indian or Indian Indian. The Indian ENDEIAN sense.
Oh, I see what you did there. That's clever.
That wasn't planned.
Cute.
I'm just saying. What I'm trying to say is Dylan didn't drink Michael Ende's water of life at the end of the book, and so he knows no joy.
He didn't have any of his wiener water.
He's just not hip to the joy of books.
No,
none of that Wiener Wasser.
Yeah. I just got one other note that I want to get here to real quick. This is, again, fairly early in the book. The childlike empress is sick. She's like on her deathbed. It's bringing about the end of the world. And then it says this. Just then, the 500th Doctor, the most famous in all Fantastica, whose knowledge was said to embrace every existing medicinal herb, every magic filter, and secret of nature, was examining the patient. Why is the most famous one the 500? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do you wait? Like, he should have been the first one.
There was a lot of that in this book. Like, okay, this is just too much. This is like,
Yeah.
So I
Well, it's supposed to be It's supposed to be fantastic. It's supposed to be fairy tale, in a way.
and it is for the kids. You got to remember. That's the thing I had to keep the kids.
It's for the
like,
children.
Okay, this could have been an email instead of 3 chapters, but it's for the kids.
It's for the children. It's totally for the children. It's like the story of the 3 little pigs. Like, of course, it's the third pig that figures out bricks,
But here's
and not the
here's
second
the thing.
pig.
The story of the 3 little pigs, you can tell that in 15 minutes. You don't need like 450 pages to get that story across.
Yeah, it was definitely too long. There should have been fewer ideas, and then he should have like. That was another thing I didn't like. It was like the writing was almost exclusive, except for that thing you read about the joy of books or whatever. Have you ever done this? That's like rare because it was just they went here, they saw this, they did this, they went here, they said this, he said this, they went here, and like I think it was like over the course of 5 pages, he talks to that moving mountain, or maybe it was the turtle, or maybe the turtle was a mountain. I can't remember, but he talks to the mountain. He goes to the swamp of despair, and
Which, can we talk about the Swamp of Despair real quick
and just,
while we're there?
Yeah, let me just finish the thought,
Okay.
and then you have all day. But the horse dies. He gets to the moving mountain in the swamp of despair, and that all happens over like 2 or 3 pages. I'm like, okay, slow. Like Ende, this was like written in 80. What year was this written?
77, I think, was the first published date.
That was
79
Something
published.
like that.
So that was like, yeah, it had to have been. This was Days of Cocaine. I'm thinking
Yeah,
because there's too much in too short a space.
I want to talk real quick about the Swamp of Sorrows and just how kind of messed up that was for a kid's book. And I've actually got this this part highlighted. So his horse could talk. This is Atreyu traveling, trying to find the cure for the childlike empress. And his horse is talking to him, and he says, "You can't help me, master. It's all over for me. Neither of us knew what we were getting into. Now we know why they are called the swamps of sadness. It's the sadness that has made me so heavy. That's why I'm sinking. There's no help." And then like this horse like goes ahead and just like sinks into the swamp and dies. Like that's some pretty heavy stuff for a children's book.
Why did you give me the handshake there?
A little.
That's like
I'm just all the time giving hand jays.
you made me laugh. Like you made me laugh when you were talking about horse suicide.
That's if I have a mission statement, it's going to make you laugh while talking about horse suicide. But no, that really struck me, the part that I read, and also when you call it the moving mountain, but it was basically a giant turtle,
It's
giant ancient
big-
turtle.
Yeah.
I really liked her outlook on life because it kind of mirrored my own.
Because she's a fucking nihilist.
Yeah. So I got this highlighted
okay.
here. Sakes alive, Morla gurgled. We're old, son, much too old. Lived long enough, seen too much. When you know as much as we do, nothing matters. Things just repeat. Day and night, summer and winter. The world is empty and aimless. Everything circles around. Whatever starts up must pass away. Whatever is born must die. It all cancels out, good and bad, beautiful and ugly. Everything's empty. Nothing is real. Nothing matters. And yeah, like, and that's in the first quarter, maybe even like the first fifth of the book. And like, once I read that, I was like, yeah, you're right. Why should I keep reading this book?
Jesus. All right, a little bit about Michael Ende. He, like Kurt Vonnegut, also witnessed the catastrophic bombings in Germany in 1944 and 45. He witnessed the bombing of Hamburg firsthand. Was moved all around. Actually joined a resistance movement.
Hashtag resistance.
To hashtag resistance. I think he was 16 or 17 years old and was the member of he was a courier for a resistance movement in Germany. He was a German citizen against the Nazis there at the fall of the war. And I've got a quote from him that I think, Dylan, you're going to like. So you may not like this book that you didn't finish, but you're going to like this.
Are you talking about...
He's always asked...
Are you talking... Okay, I think I had that pulled up, but you go ahead. I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, we've hit on it on an earlier episode. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, okay. Well, here we go. Ansel, check this out. We were talking about... All right. What were we talking? What book was that where we talked about this?
I think it was...
Where we talked about English majors. It was when we did One Fish, Two Fish. It's when we did One Fish, Two Fish. The Goxes of Thought. All right. They asked him about the meaning in it, and he replied one time, "Art and poetry don't explain the world, they depict it. They do not need anything that exceeds them. They themselves are goals. A good poem does not exist to improve the world. It, in itself, is a piece of an improved world, which is why it does not need a message. This endless searching for a message, moral, religious, practical, social, etc., is a deplorable invention of literary professors and essayists who otherwise would not know what to write and babble about. The works of Shakespeare, the Odyssey, 1001 Nights, and Don Quixote, the biggest works of literature, don't have a message. They don't prove or disprove anything. They are something like a mountain, a lake, a deadly desert, or an apple tree." Dude, I dug that.
Yeah.
We actually, I think, all agreed on that. And when I read that as a quote from him, I thought, wow, this guy's got it figured out.
That is very cool.
And then before we move on, I think,
that is uber cool, as he himself might say.
Yeah. And I pulled that up too.
Yeah,
and that was like the exact selection that I had that I was going to read. And I do agree with that 100%. So even though I didn't enjoy his book, I enjoyed his philosophy behind the book.
He goes on, but I mean, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
I mean, you can find that quote on Wikipedia under Michael Ende's entry if you're interested. I loved it. I thought that was awesome. But one thing I do want to say before we move on to the next thing, and I'll leave that up to you two, whatever the next thing is. We have to remember that what we're reading here is not the never-ending story. There's always something lost in translation, no matter how good a translation is. And there were a couple of times reading this book, I can't remember offhand what they were, where I thought, there's got to be a better way to translate that from the German. And so, I mean, I think the guy's name was Mannheim, Ralph Mannheim, Steamroller. Ralph the Steamroller Mannheim translated this. And we need to remember that there could be things we're missing.
Yeah. And I was actually listening to something the other day, and there was a guy on there that had written like a new translation. I think it was the Iliad, and he was kind of talking about that. How if you attempt to recreate the prose through the translation, then it's kind of doomed to fail. And that was kind of like specifically like referring to like the ancient Greek into English, like the languages don't really match up very well. I wish I could remember who it was, because it
was the War Nerd. It was on the Chapo Trap House.
That's right. Yeah. So I really want to read that book now just to see, because I've tried to read the Iliad before and it was just painstakingly dull the way it was translated. And I think you run into that problem anytime that you translate something, because you do have to convey the same idea and meaning while adapting the translation into really new prose that flows well and is enjoyable to read in the new language. So I appreciate the difficulty of translation.
No, I think you may have tipped your hand a little bit there. I feel like we have an Iliad in our future.
No. It will be in the future, but it's not on deck.
Well, all right, guys. It's about halfway through the show. You want to go ahead and cue up that old theme song for Elijah's Media Minute?
Elijah's Media Minute.
All right, Elijah's Media Minute. Who's going to go first?
Ansel, you got something? I got something queued up.
Go ahead.
Give me just a second to get to my notes. All right. Let me know when it's a go, Elijah.
Give me 1 minute. You ready?
I'm ready.
And go.
My choice for this media minute is I want you, the listener, to get you a recipe that you want to cook and prepare that meal while listening to Kid A by Radiohead. Just cue it up. It doesn't matter. The album lasts about 50 minutes or so. It's really the perfect length. I mean, even if you're just making something that's like 15 minutes, you still get everything in its right place and national anthem in there, so you're good. But no, I actually did this myself, and it was a really awesome experience because I really like the song "Everything in Its Right Place" when I'm starting to cook because I got my mise en place. So yeah, it's a great album just to listen to on its own. But if you I feel like if you do some acid and get it synced up, like the songs can kind of mirror what you're doing a lot.
All
like
right. Minutes
the Dark
up.
Side of the Rainbow.
Well done. Minutes up. Ansel, your 30-second rebuttal. Are you ready?
Yeah.
And go.
Yesterday, I woke up slicing a lemon. Now I've listened to the album while doing a lot of things, but never cooking. So yeah, I'll try it out. Thanks for the advice, brother.
And you still have 15 seconds.
The thing I enjoy cooking that I think would do good with Radiohead would be patty melt.
And stop. All right, my 30-second rebuttal.
You gotta get your knives out.
Is Knives Out on that album?
No, it's not.
No, it's on OK Computer, is it not?
No, it's on Hell to the Thief.
No, that's on Amnesiac. Knives Out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I've got 15 seconds left. Yeah, I'll try that, Dylan. I haven't listened to Kid A in a long time. Good album. It's been a while. I'll have to cook something really weird. Yeah. All right, and stop. Ansel, you ready?
I am ready, yeah.
All right, it's your media minute. Go.
Okay, so Tupac Shakur, you can't trust what you hear. Realize. The uninitiated are like, why did you just say the same thing 3 times? It's not real eyes, realize, real lies. So that's very insightful, but I'm trying to think of my own version of that. And the only one I have so far, the only one I've been able to come up with is cell phone. So you got cell phone, self-own, and self-hone.
That's pretty good.
So,
but you gotta. I mean, realize
it's my wait for your rebuttal. But anyway, I know I'm not expecting you to come up with it now, but in the near future, if you guys could try to come up with a realize, cell phone, try to bring it into the club. I'd love to hear it very much. Yeah, Tupac, and now me. It's a 2-person totem pole. Me.
All right, 1 minute.
Tupac.
Dylan, rebuttal. Go.
Yeah, I like cell phone, self-own, self-hone. That's good, but I don't think that really jives the same way as realize really comes into a complete thought. Are you familiar with the sentence, buffalo, 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 buffalo?
No.
That's it was fairly common to see this in
3
Reddit
seconds.
comment sections. Buffalo,
Stop.
buffalo.
No, explain the buffalo. I grant an extra few seconds.
Okay, it's basically it's a complete thought, but it's buffalo. Buffalo as the animal from the city of Buffalo commit the verb buffalo to buffalo that are also from the city of Buffalo.
Buffalo, buffalo,
What
buffalo, buffalo.
What is I don't know what the verb buffalo is, I guess.
I think it's just to like
Trample people?
just
That's a stretch. I don't know.
You ever seen a buffalo? You ever see what a buffalo do?
I've never seen a buffalo.
Buffalo.
All right, your time's up.
Yeah.
My rebuttal, 30 seconds. All right, I've got fish sticks and fish dicks.
Okay, and that kind of ties into Kanye and South Park.
That is, I didn't know any of this had anything to do with Kanye and South Park. No, I told my baby daughter today she smelled like fish sticks, and then I had to clarify that I meant the food, the fish stick. And my time is up.
Yeah, I think it was a South Park episode.
Yeah, it was a South Park episode where like it was a joke that Jimmy came up with, and then it got to Kanye and he didn't get it, so it's like he got real mad about it because people thought they were making fun of him because he couldn't get the joke. Anyway,
Well, my wife actually asked me if fish had dicks. All right.
Hold on. Just to get some clarification here.
Okay.
This is from Wikipedia. Buffalo, 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 buffalo is a sentence that uses correct grammar. It is often used as an example of how homonyms and homophones can be used to create confusing, hard-to-understand sentences. Bunch of Wikipedia bullshit. The sentence does not have punctuation. It uses 3 different meanings of the word buffalo. They are noun adjunct, which is a noun used as an adjective, the city of Buffalo, New York. The noun, the animal called buffalo, in the plural form. They are also known as bison. And also the verb, the word buffalo, which means to confuse or intimidate, or to scare somebody. So it can be broken down to buffalo.
See, I call buffalo on that one.
It means bison from buffalo, which other bison from buffalo confuse the bison from buffalo. Are you buffaloed by that?
A little bit, yeah.
Bison, 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 bison.
It kind of ties into this book because of the
bison,
the 2 snakes eating their own tail.
Bison, 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 bison.
All right.
Have you ever eaten any bison? So you could do like, bison, bison, my bison.
I never really had any doubt that you were, but now I know for sure that you are the next Tupac.
They've been saying it for years now.
Be careful. All right, and that's all the time we have for Elijah's Media Minute.
Elijah's Media Minute.
Let's get back to the book. So, let's talk about the end of the book. All right, shall we?
The Ende, if you will.
The end of the book.
Yeah, let's.
End of the book. Dylan, I'm feeling like you missed out on something.
I may have, but I'm okay with that.
Your nihilistic ways have left you a bit short-handed here.
Well, his nihilism is like conveniently, it kind of suits his situation. Like whenever he needs it, it's like that sword that like jumps out into his hand and can carve through anything.
I don't think Dylan gets that reference.
He doesn't, but like, he's not really sure, but he is going to put this episode together and release it. So
Yeah.
Well,
And it doesn't matter that my nihilism only serves my ends when I need it to.
the end of the book is much harder to get through than the first half of the book. Second half of the book is a much longer drag. Yes or no, Ansel?
I agree, but I think there's more brain nuggets in the second half than the first half.
Indeed, there are.
Like what's real? What's not real? What is he losing? Is he actually the childlike emperor? It seems plausible. I don't know. There's a lot more. It was much more engaging, even though it wasn't as fun to read, I guess.
Exactly, and that's what I think Dylan missed here. I think Dylan, when you do get a chance and you can kind of, I don't know, set aside a little time to go back and pick it up and finish the second half of the book, you totally should. Because I think that's one of the things, having seen the movie and being very familiar with the movie as a child, and then going through the first half of the book and thinking, this is nothing like the film. The film was totally different here, and here. And then coming to the second part of the book, I realized that the second
you
half.
Realize or
I realized.
realize?
I realized with real eyes.
Okay.
Like they were open. Third eye, realized.
Okay.
Was wise. Do not despise. Right, guys? The second half of the book, a lot of those elements were actually taken and used for the sequel movie, which was horrible. But what's interesting is they got a different kid to play Bastian in the second movie, and in the second part of the book, it's basically a different kid. Am I the only one that thought about that?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen the second one, so I didn't know that. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
haven't
horrible.
seen it.
You got to see it.
Well,
It's absolutely dreadful.
I might watch it with my kids someday. But I think, I actually thought about this. And I'm glad you made me think of this. So it was a German writer and a German director, and the German version of the movie. Yeah, it was the guy who directed Das Boot or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, is the German version? Do they have different actors with the same set? I'm curious. Is that
No, I'm sure it's the exact same thing, and then they've dubbed it into German.
Interesting.
Movie. Let's talk about the movie now. We've talked about the end of the book, and we can exclude Dylan from that discussion. The movie.
Joke's on you. You can exclude me out of this discussion, too.
You haven't seen the movie either?
That's why I sent that message, just because I was like, hey, we have the movie here. We can watch it before if you want to. I'm sure the topic will come up.
I do not care to watch this movie one iota. If I were a kid, I would probably dig it. But I have no interest whatsoever.
Well, for me, the only letdown in the book was the question of my generation. Is in the end of that movie, Bastian says the Empress's name, and you cannot understand what he's saying. And I think every time we watched that movie as a kid, my mom would say, "This is the dumbest movie ever." You know, Mom would say, "You can't understand what the hell he's saying." Jesus. Whatever he said in the film is not Moonchild. And you're not Moonchild.
There's a Moonchild here.
See? No, that's not what he says. He says a name in the movie, and if anyone out there, an HMS listener, can find the script and tell me.
I think Ansel's working on some Google Foo to see if he can pull anything up on that.
Looking it up now. The weather is bad here, so it's slow, but I'm working on it.
All right, well, we'll get on to that. Ansel.
Elijah.
While you're doing that, is there anything you want to add to the Neverending story?
No, I have nothing to add.
Nothing to add. You think we've covered it all, Dylan?
Let me look over the chapter summary real quick. Let's do favorite parts. What was your favorite part of this book, Elijah? Like favorite chapter or favorite situation?
I really like the colored desert and the part where he was in the house of the lion.
Yeah, that was
That destroyed everything but him.
Yeah.
That was sad and beautiful at the same time. I like that.
And then he later killed that creature just by trying to rush the sword. What was it called?
I don't remember the name of the sword right now.
But yeah, that was super cool. Silver City was kind of neat. The dragon part was stupid. Could have been cut. The dragon for the hero.
Mm.
The Icarus turning into butterflies was stupid. Seeing Hand, Stark Cloister. The city of the old emperors, I think, where like Bastion gets humbled after being such a douche.
Yeah.
Like where he goes to the city of emperors and he sees the trajectory he's on, and he sees like the danger of his sense of superiority, and yeah, I like that. I like that part. That was probably
really cool. Agreed. Very cool. Dylan, favorite part?
Well, I just want to say, Googling real quick. According to Google, he does name the childlike empress as Moonchild in the movie as well. Let's see if we can just play a little snippet of this.
No, I swear to God, he says Mon Mothma. Okay, yeah, he does say Moonchild. I just watched it. I am wrong. He gives child like 7 syllables. Dylan, favorite part of the book?
My favorite part was Morla the turtle, the undying one. If she were in charge, there would be an end to this book, and I kind of wish she just would have eaten Atreyu and been done with it.
Fair enough. That was your favorite part. There's better parts in the second half, but okay. I think we're done. I think we need to rate this book. I think we need to pass the conch, and I think we need to move on. We have
agree on all counts.
Well, all right. Go right ahead, Dylan. You start with the ratings.
I actually have something prepared here.
Okay.
I give this book 1 Atreyu, and I mean the band Atreyu, just because like I just kind of want to highlight like what I read of this book was fine. Like the prose was good. I didn't like the story. I didn't get invested in the characters, so it didn't hold my attention. So it's fine. Like I'm not gonna get like a gilded copy to put on my shelf. I'm not going to get like a line from this book tattooed on my body, which some people do to some books, which is just bizarre to me. And I'm also not going to name my shitty Screamo band after a character in this book. I can do better than Atreyu. So yeah, that's my rating is Atreyu.
I got a joke. They're not a Screamo band. They're a Falcor band.
One Atreyu is the rating from Dylan. Ansel, rating.
Okay, I'm going to give this book the designation Ultra Mega Okay.
Ultra Mega Okay.
That sounds like a 90s
that sounds like another
Screamo
Screamo band. It sounds like another Screamo band.
Close, but no cigar. It's the name of Soundgarden's first LP. It's called Ultra Mega Okay, and it was like a joke like, this is super...
That's what I said. I said like a 90s grunge album name.
Yeah, I was talking to Elijah who said another Screamo, but yeah, I knew that you picked up on it. But yeah, it's just like this book was okay. but it was like very spectacularly, extraordinarily mediocre. Okay in that way. So Ultra Mega okay, it's the best I got.
That's the best. All right, Ultra Mega okay, and in a Treyu. I'm gonna maybe shock some listeners, and out there on HMS listener, some shipmen and ladies, people. I liked it a lot. I liked it a whole lot, and I really could split some hairs and find some similarities to Tolkien's fantasy, but I don't find that to be necessary because this sets itself up as it is. Yeah, go ahead.
I meant to bring that up a little bit earlier. It felt like it borrowed more from like traditional fairy tales than Tolkien itself, which is kind of what Tolkien was borrowing from to get with. I don't know how in depth you want to get on that vein, but that was what I got from it.
I don't. As I said in the beginning of the episode, the book was not just given to me because Sarah thought I would enjoy it. She also said, "Look, here's something that's fantasy that really doesn't draw on Tolkien," and she's right. But you could nitpick, you could say this and that, and I'm not going to do that. And here's why. A, that would be superfluous. B, that's what, I don't know, that's just a shitty thing to do to what was ultimately a good story. And the way it ends makes it a damn good story. And I'm going to give it my first ever rating of a white snake and a black snake, because it's 2 books in one, and you have a little happy fairy tale at the beginning with the darkness that comes around and consumes it in the end. So let's just give it a yin yang. I'll give it the full yin yang. It's cool. I like the way it wraps itself up. But just having one of those yin yangs doesn't make it a bad rating. Just tells you what's going on inside.
If you had stuck to the white snake and the black snake, we would have all had musically themed ratings.
Well, then let's do that. You're right. You're absolutely right. I'm going to go with white snake and
Poison.
Oh, I thought you were going hot snakes. I thought that's where you're going, but you're talking about white snake.
I do need to go hot snakes, but that's another story for another time.
That have been left in the sun and are.
No. I'm definitely going hot snakes, but that's another story for another time.
Caliente. That's a band name for you. Culebros Calientes.
So
hot snakes.
You've wasted another hour or plus of your life listening to Book Club, the podcast, and we thank you for that. I'm going to pass the conch on to Dylan. I believe you are next.
I am next. And,
here's the conch.
Thank you.
Aaron. Here's Aaron. Take Aaron. But
No,
be careful.
the
Since you didn't read the book, you don't know how to use it. All right, go.
Yeah.
Here's the conch.
I found that, like, we before this episode, we kind of had a string of episodes of like books we all kind of enjoyed. We did Dune and the Left Hand of Darkness, and I just kind of felt that books that we enjoy tends to produce duller episodes. Do y'all kind of feel the same way?
Agree.
So I wanted to pick something that I knew that I have judged this book not even seeing its cover, and I just really want to like squeeze out some hot snakes all over it. So I have chosen for the next book Emily Post's Etiquette, 18th edition.
Oh, no.
And it's actually not written by Emily Post. It's written by Peggy Post, Anna Post, Lizzie Post, and Daniel Post Senning are the collaborative authors.
Wait. Daniel Post Senning?
Senning, Senning. And
this whole family has painted themselves into a hell of a corner. Like they have to have like
the utmost manners. We'll get into it.
Okay.
We'll get into it. That's next episode. But just to clarify, this isn't the most recent edition of Emily Post Etiquette. It's just the most recent edition that I could find in my local library, and I will not give these people any money. And if you want to read along, reader, I encourage that, but do not pay for this book. I cannot stress this enough. Don't give these people money.
This is a great idea. I love this.
And while we're on the air, I just kind of want to discuss with you guys like how we're going to go about this, because this book is 736 pages long.
I'll tell you how you go about it. You read 50 pages a day.
No.
We reconvene in 2 weeks.
Here's my idea.
I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the first half.
Well, yeah, you can do that. But I was thinking what we could do, we could split it up into 3 thirds, and each take a third and kind of bring that third to the other 2. And
that sounds fair. That sounds fair.
Kind of spice things up a little bit.
That
and we'll off air, we'll take a look at the chapter list and kind of divvy it up and whatnot.
We should consult the book at least to see the correct way to divide up.
Right. And what's this?
Reading group?
What's this book called?
It is the name of the book is Emily Post's Etiquette, 18th edition.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up on Playbooks. I'm going to pay for it. Emily?
No. Do not pay for this book.
Emily Post's Etiquette, 18th edition?
No.
We have access to an old edition.
Yeah. We have access to a free
old edition.
Holy
shit, $30 ebook. You've got to be fucking kidding me. You've got to be fucking kidding me.
I mean, it might be the greatest grift ever, spanning 2 centuries, but it's all for next episode.
Okay. All right.
And just to clarify, this is one edition older. This one was released in 2011, so the etiquette might be a little bit outdated. It's not for the the post-Trump etiquette.
It's like you pick up a fork between your third and fourth fingers. Oh, that is so 2016.
If you can't say MAGA before you get to the aperitifs.
It was there was that thing where at Mar-a-Lago they served caviar with plastic spoons, and people were people were really pissed off about it. So yeah.
How dare you serve me raw fish eggs with a plastic spoon?
Well, all right.
All right.
Good job, guys. Go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you.
I was just gonna say to wrap up. Follow us on Twitter at Bookclubcast. Go to the website bookclubcast.com. We got links to all the stuff there. It's awesome. Go to iTunes and give us 5 stars, and then tell us what your real rating would be.
So you could give us hot snakes or
an Atreyu. I mean,
yeah.
You can really take off the gloves and give us the business there. Just give us 5 stars. Let's start something.
After you give 5 stars, that's a prerequisite to get to where you give the actual rating.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you all once again for tuning into Book Club, the podcast. We love having you along. We love having your attention on the social media webs. Go to bookclubcast.com. If all else fails, you can always find us there. Dylan, start reading the books. Ansel, it's been a pleasure.
Oh yeah.
Love you. Love y'all.
Thanks for having me. Love you too.
Love you too.
Thanks for having me.